So we got pixels, pixel galore, pixel 11. So let's roll into this. And I did not link this down below in the video description, but I'll do it after. So we're gonna continue this same kind of theme with previous year's pixels to this year's pixels. So all the bold colors, eccentric colors, bright colors are going to be on the base Pixel 11. I don't know why they do this. This really bothers me. And then going into the Pixel 11 Pro, Pro XL, Pro Fold, they give you all the boring stuff. So I'm like, dude, come on. I wish they would just make the colors all available to all the devices. So whatever. I mean, some people bother, some people it doesn't, but for me it certainly does. So here's your colors. And again, I know they list the official names of these colors, but I'm just gonna give them to you like we see them. Unless you're colorblind, I'm just gonna tell you pink, blue, green, black, and deal with it. Sorry, I can't get into all this pistachio and hibiscus. What the hell is hibiscus? Huh? Anyways, okay, so those are your colors for the base Pixel 11. You have like a bluish silver. You got a green. You got a black, and you got a pink. Pink? Yeah, pink is definitely for ladies. My wife saw this and she was like, "Oh, they have a pink," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's it's for the base pixel. You don't want the base pixel, remember?" She's like, "Oh, I know they do this every freaking time, man. It pisses me off." And the other thing is, another little tidbit of information: the cool thing they do on the base pixel that they do not do on the Pro and the XL. The colors, like look at that pink pixel. You see that it went down there on the bottom left. What Google does on the base pixel, they wrap that color, so it's on the back obviously, but they wrap it around the sides too. So the side of your pixel, if you look at it sideways, is pink. If you look at the back, it's pink. On the Pro XL, the Pro Fold, you get your color on the back, but on the sides it's like a chrome. It's like a shiny silver. It's like a mirror, and it's a fingerprint magnet. I freaking hate that. I just wish they would make the two little changes. And it's not even, don't even get me started on the processor and the GPU, but just as far as aesthetics, this is probably, and everybody's different, my opinion, this is the best looking smartphone in the world. That's just my opinion. I love the way it looks, classic look. I hope they don't ever change from it. Well, okay, maybe 5 years from now you can change from it, Google, but if they just made these little changes, I think, I don't know. And a lot of people I talk to pixel owners do not like the silvery sides, and a lot of people don't want to get the base model. Most people want to get the Pro model, a Pro series device. So better cameras, better performance, kind of. But it's just, it could be that much more better if they just did those couple of things, but they're not going to. I guess we'll have to wait another year. So here's the prices. Now, let me look. We're all about honesty here, right? I got it wrong. I was wrong on the price, and I was wrong on the storage slightly. I was kind of right, kind of wrong on the storage. We'll get into it. So here's the prices for the base Pixel 11. $899. Well, let's just do this. $900, $1. $900 for the 256. It's expensive. And $1,019 for the 512. $1,019 for a base model. Well, bigger storage, but where I was wrong at is the base model is not getting 8 gigs of RAM. The base model is getting 12 gigs of RAM. That's what they are saying at the moment. So I was wrong. I said that the base Pixel 11 was getting 8 gigs of RAM. Sorry, my bad. Officially, it's getting 12. Now, let's move on to the Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL colors and prices, as well as storage, because I got something wrong on here too that we're about to get to. I'm just being honest. So, I'm not wrong a lot, but every now and then I put it out there. Correction. So this is weird. These do have some cool colors, but I'm not sure. This is interesting. So you have a green, you have a black, you have an orange, and you have a light blue. Now, I'm not so sure who's going to buy the orange color because typically to draw women in, you need a girly color like a pink or something, right? This orange looks weird. I don't know. Would more men choose that? Would more women choose that? It's kind of stuck in the middle, right? Well, I was going to make a joke, but probably not. Save that. Okay. And you have a green. Not a fan of that green. They're always going to have black. They've had black every single year. And then instead of having a white color, it's this kind of teal. So what's the official name? So olive, I'm assuming, is the green. Obsidian is the black. Canyon is the orange. And fog would be the light blue. I don't know. I don't get it, but those are your colors. Now, if I had to choose one, let's go back to the 11. If I had to choose a Pixel 11, I'd probably go with the blue top left. If I had to choose a Pixel 11 Pro or Pro XL, I'd probably choose the blue because I've had the black Pixel. I've had, and then I don't like green, and I'm definitely not getting that color. It looks super fruity, the orange color. So I'd be getting the blue tint on each one. I guess officially that's called the fog color. Let's move on. So for pricing on the Pixel 11 Pro, $1099 for the base. Now this is the Pro, Pixel 11 Pro, the smaller Pro. Base 256 is $1099. So the pricing is weird because you can get a standard Pixel 11 512 gigabyte essentially for the same price, a few dollars off from the Pro 256, if that makes sense. The 512 Pixel 11 Pro is $1219. Yikes. And for the 1 terabyte model, $1449 for a small phone. $1449. Now for the Pixel 11 Pro XL, the big boy, the base model, just to get in the door is $1,300 for the base Pixel 11 Pro XL at 256 gigs. At 512 gigs, you're looking at $1,419. $1,419. And then for the 1 terabyte model, $1,649. Yikes. Now here's where I was wrong on the Pro models. I told you that the Pro models were just getting 12 gigs of RAM. I was like half right, half wrong on this one. The base models, so the entry level 256 gigs, are getting 12 gigs of RAM. So if you get the Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL, the base model at 256 gigs, that's only coming with 12 gigs of RAM. They're very clever with how they do this because Pixel users are used to having 16 gigs of RAM on all the Pro models dating back for the last few years. So if you want to get an entry-level Pixel 11 Pro or Pro XL, they're going to reduce your RAM. So they're going to entice users to get that 16 gigs of RAM. They're only putting 16 gigs of RAM on the 512 and the 1 terabyte. So they're going to force, not necessarily force, but kind of, users to get the 512, but then the price drastically increases. So just to review that again, the Pro XL and the Folds as well, base 256, only getting 12 gigs of RAM. It's only when you bump up to 512 and 1 terabyte that you're getting 16 gigs of RAM. So, and you only get 2 colors on the Fold. So you're getting a black and a, what do they call it? Olive green. So, prices for these are pretty expensive. $1899 for the base model, 256, 12 gigs of RAM. $2019 for the 512 with 16 gigs of RAM, and $2249 for the 1 terabyte model with 16 gigs of RAM. Yo, that is crazy. Yeah, I'm not I'm not a big fan, and I've never been a big fan of pixel colors. For one thing, all the colors that I did want were the base model, and I'm not getting base models. And that's why I chose just a black like last year. Or my Pixel 7 Pro. I had a black 9 Pro XL. I had a black 10 Pro. I had a blue 8 Pro. And I had a white 7 Pro. So, they've never been good with the colors. They've never been good with color names. That's one of my little gripes with Google. Now is let's go to before I ask you the ultimate question of, does this entice you to get a Pixel? Now that you see the specs, let's talk about the specs, the internals. No surprise here. We know it's going to have the Tensor G6. We know it's going to have that 5-year-old GPU. It's going to have Wi-Fi 7. It's going to have Bluetooth 6. Now, the only specs on the spec sheet that like really impress me or really pop out to me is the fact that the battery is just slightly going to get larger. But the cool thing is these phones should get really good battery life. Now, let me explain why. Because it's getting the all-new Samsung M16 OLED panel. This is going to be the very first device on Earth with Samsung's new M16 OLED panel. The same one that's going to be put on the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max. And I know you're thinking, oh, what's the big deal of freaking OLED panel? It's a big deal. This is going to be a full 10-bit plus display. It's going to be even more power efficient than previous generation's M14 OLED panel. They skipped the 15, kind of like OnePlus skipped the 14 for the phones. Samsung skipped the M15 OLED panel, went straight from 14 to 16. Now, it's even more brighter. It's even more bolder. And Pixel's not putting this stupid privacy shade on this display. It's going to look badass. Now, that's not the coolest thing about it. It's going to use even less power than the M14 OLED panel. The M14 OLED panel used 74% less power than the M13 OLED panel. So it's going to use even less power and get even more brighter. So I say that to say this. That new CPU that's in the Tensor G6, world's first, maybe beat Apple by a couple months, the very first, world's first 2 nanometer chipset on the market. 2 nanometer chipset means it's a smaller foundation. It takes less power to run all those computing electrons around the base. So the 2 nanometer means it's going to use less power, more efficient. So you're going to get a more efficient display. You're going to get a more efficient CPU, and you're going to bump the battery up a little bit, not drastic, but a little bit. Well, that should equate to pretty good battery life. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, it's not going to be one plus 15 2-day battery life, but I think Pixel users are going to see a drastic increase in the amount of screen on time. Maybe if you average on your Pixel right now, your Pixel 10 Pro, if you average 7 hours of screen on time, I think you're going to hit 9. I think it's going to increase your screen on time in the overall battery life of the device probably by 20%, maybe 30%. And that's a lot. So I think users will see really good battery life with this phone. You're going to get all new camera sensors. It's a decent upgrade. Now, the only thing I haven't heard is the 200 charging cycle limit. From what Google said this time last year, it's going to be on all future phones, or whatever they said, all future devices moving forward. So I fully anticipate the 200 charging cycle limit to be implemented into the Pixel 11 series devices, which blows, which sucks, which essentially makes the phone useless after 6 months of use. Sorry, it is what it is. Now, question before we move on, does this entice you any more than you were possibly a week ago, a month ago, to getting one of these devices? Are you on the fence? Are you just, I'm going to pass? Or are you all in and you're grabbing one? Because for me, I've told you all over the past few months that I'm going to skip this generation of Pixel, and I still am. I'm still going to skip it. Now, we are going to get one in the house. I think my wife is going to get one. Yeah, you're going to pass. So we'll have one whenever they get launched. We're going to order one for her, and then I'll unbox it and take a look at it. We'll take a look at it together. But I'm going to pass this year. I just don't see. I just, with this 200 charging cycle limit thing, it just really bugs me. I just haven't seen. I think if you love Pixel, if you like Pixel, you're gonna like this new Pixel phone. But for me, I'm gonna pass. But I think what I am gonna do is potentially now get a Flip 8. I know I told y'all I'm done with the Flip this year. I didn't know this was gonna be the last one. Did y'all see my community post that I put out? Apparently they're done with the Flip series. Who knew? If I, just a week ago, I was going to skip the Flip 8. In fact, I think I've said that multiple times. And now I'm like, well, shit. It's going to have a new Snapdragon modem, new Snapdragon CPU, GPU. It's going to be the last one. I might as well get the very last one. That means I'll have every phone in the series. So I'm probably going to go ahead and grab one of those. I love the Flips. But as far as Pixel goes, yeah,